Okay, so this camera is all over the place, but hey. So here we are. Now we have done this wonderful thing. Just double check. We've got a crown on the top of each of these. Not bad, pretty good for a first go actually.
Yeah.
So now we have some fun. Hooray! And we're going to get a few. I've made some little books. That's what fell apart earlier on. It came falling down.
Yeah.
I badly made a book of things. So we've got 2015, 12, 8, oh yeah, 6, 8,
1,000?
1,000 well spotted, yeah. So we're going to literally start with each of these. And we don't need too much of it, so I'm not going to waste it all, but we'll take it off bit by bit. So this is the fun part now. We're now going to just sand it. And what we're doing now, this is, we're starting off with the roughest sandpaper first. What I don't want to do is take any more off the top. It's much gentler. This is 600, that's 320. That took quite a work. We had to use quite a bit of effort to get that to take it down. So we know that this is half the grit of that, and we're doing it by hand very lightly. So we know we're not going to take any, we're not going to mess up the heights, but we don't want to do it too long. We just want to kind of even everything up. So my advice would be to do it by hand, right, and let your fingers follow the thing. So you're just literally running up and down the neck, allowing your fingers to fall into the hole. And you can imagine what we're doing is we're taking off, as the fingers go into the gap, we are taking out,
rid of any sharp edges.
Yeah, we're getting rid of sharp edges, but we're also getting rid of any of the biggest scrapes made by the files. So I sort of have a go, just let that go for up and down. This is the fun part, because now we're starting to make sure you concentrate at all areas as well. So we tend to forget this one, so pay that one a bit of attention. And mine didn't scrape that too much. But yeah, this is the fun part. Now we've done all the really hard work. Now we're on the home stretch, and at the end of this process, then what we'll have is some beautifully shiny, but more importantly leveled frets, so that when we in a minute then put the neck back on, we've suddenly got a guitar that gives us options in terms of how we set the action, because we can go really low without having buzzers and chokes and stuff. So keep going a bit more. It's kind of by feel. I mean, sometimes what you can do is grab a plastic plectrum, or I don't know, what's one kicking
off somewhere.
Oh yeah, one of my homemade plectrums. But you know, if you're not sure, just run that over a fret and see if you can usually feel if there's some major issues. This isn't too bad. So what we're really doing is just we're just beginning the process of taking it all down. You might find that these two frets here, you might want to do a bit of backwards and forwardsing.
Yeah.
The reason because is those will tend to have some string wear in little grooves. Particularly the first one, which we can never get to with the rocker. See what I mean? So that one of all frets probably needs a bit of backwards and forwards treatment. And then I think for me, when I've got the 600, the last bit of work I would do with the 600 paper is just to start one end and just do a bit of backwards and forwardsing, move down, just really so not a load of pressure down, just just a little bit. And get down to the end, and then we'll tear off the next half of the strip. Next one down. No, the next one down. Next grade. So you can see that what we're doing now is we're lightening up the pressure, the grit, so that theoretically, as we do that, what should happen is that these surfaces here get smoother, and the scrapes made by your paper get lighter and lighter and tinier and tinier until it becomes almost polished. Then we do the same thing. Perhaps you don't have to spend quite so long on this one, and you can press it a little harder. As you get lighter, you can use a little bit more pressure, which somebody, clever person listening to this, probably say equates to using less pressure on a rougher grit.
Yeah.
Probably.
You can already see that this is becoming a lot more shinier than originally was.
Yeah. If you do get a guitar and you do the fret level checking, sometimes you don't have to take the neck off to do that, by the way. You do need the neck to be straight. So let's say you took this, you've got a new guitar or a second-hand guitar. You take the neck off, take the strings off. Use the truss rod adjustment to get the neck to be straight with the strings off. If you're going to do any fret checking and fret adjustment, and then if you check it and you find nothing needs leveling, you still want to polish up your frets to bring them, freshen them up. Then you might not need to use all this sandpapering malarkey. You might just need to use a couple of these fret polishing rubbers, and there's 2 grades there, and they will take all the gunge off the frets. Start with the darker one, the grittier one, and then just finish off with the light one. Still use masking tape, and then still finish off with a polishing compound, and you'll bring old frets back to life. Nice. Right, next level. If I had sense, I'd probably store these somewhere, knowing we might use them again. Sandpaper's not the most expensive stuff. It's not expensive, it's just it always runs out when you least want it to. As with everything, I guess the longer you spend doing this, really the better the result you'll get. But it's got to be a balance between wanting to get on and play the thing and, you know, working till it's the shiniest thing that's ever been produced. I mean, if you do this the first time yourself and then you go through this whole process and then you string it and you go, actually, you know what, it's not as smooth as the one I got upstairs. You know that even with all you did, there's still a bit more work you could have done. Yeah. And then all that happens is next time you've got the strings off, you might polish it a bit more. You wouldn't need to level it again, but you might just start from I don't know, 1,000 paper, yeah, and just go through the shining process again. Okay. Stick it on the pile of. So we're going, in this case, we're going 600, 800, 1,000, 12. 12. Yeah. And then 16, and then 2,000 will stop, and then we'll get the Dremel out. And it is immensely satisfying to be able to put the body back onto this, or put the neck to the body when we've done this. Just as an observation, that I checked the nut on this the other day. That's pretty well, yeah, cut. We won't have any problems with that.
Won't be much marvelling as to why.
No. Well, we know we've got a bit of a head start now, but it's actually not bad. It's not badly done, so we won't need to make any adjustments to that, thankfully. Another thing we're not using this time, but could use another time. These are little spongy sandpaper things. They're quite nice to use. But again, we're already past this. This is 180 grit and, yeah, 240, so I wouldn't really want to. You might have done that. I mean, the thing we did the adjustments with, the leveling with, was less harsh than this, so we wouldn't really use that in that job. But they can be quite good for sanding wood. Okay, next one. And these books are quite handy because I know this does get messy. Yeah. These are handy because make sure we know the order that they're in. I only invented that yesterday, but make sure we know what order they're in, and also make sure they're summed to hand. And we know we just order some more if we run low. I've left that one a larger size so that we can use it with a block on wood, yeah, when we're working to do the body stuff where the lacquer's been done. Yeah, 1,500, hardly doing anything. This is the polishing sort of stage now. Yeah. And this one, do backwards and forwards and do a bit of backwards, yeah, front and back on there. Okay. So I'm going to get ready with the Dremel. If you're interested in doing guitar tweaking, I do think the Dremel is probably one of the best tools you can have handy, because this finishes your frets off in a way that would take you a lot of arm power, and I don't know why this won't go in here at all. Right. Yeah, the Dremel will save you a lot of elbow grease. One of the things, Thomas was just looking at the masking tape there because it's peeling off. If you do go through the masking tape, or if you do see a cut or something that you've done with the file, always stop and put a bit more on.
Yeah.
Because if you left a little bit thinking, oh, we're nearly finished, you're amazed how much of a mess that would make. We're done now anyway, so that's okay. But you know, if early on you get a hole in there or a little rip,
yeah.
what you're doing now will make a bit of a mess. Okay, so we are now, if you get the green cloth, we're ready to do the polishing part, followed by putting the neck back on the guitar part.
There you
go. Okay, so a quick precursor. Look how nice those things look now.
Yeah.
So we'll start with the thicker goo. If you can give these all a shake for me.
Mm-hmm.
5. God, what the hell is the 3, 5, 7? 7's the finest one. We'll go 3 first, which is that one. That one's like that's a thick shake.
No.
That's a milkshake, and that's a well, that is yogurt. That's one of those things, Activa yogurts. That last one.
Lovely comparison.
So I'm just going to stick a bit of this on badly because it always misses the frets altogether. I'm just going to blob some on with my fingers. I haven't found a better way of doing this. Chris. Oh, we have visitors come to see our new kittens, which is the sweetest little things. I'm just piling this on because I don't see any quicker way of doing it or a simpler way of doing this. What will happen is, with a Dremel, you will as soon as this comes across some polish, it will spit it everywhere. So if you're indoors doing this or in your front room, beware, it will spit on you. Okay, so this is the great bit. I'll start it, but you can carry on. Stick it on lowest possible speed. Get ready for it to spit at you. And what we're going to do is we're just going to let it on its own weight. We're just going to go back and forwards on it, and it will make everything around it go black. But you can see already it's going to shine that up. And spend a few seconds going backwards and forwards. You can't do any harm at this stage. This is just polishing compound. In a sense that spend a minute here instead of 10 seconds, you get a better result.
So then if you can already see the massive difference between that and that. I was going over this with the sandpaper, and you think that you've got to the maximum amount of shine you can get to it, and then you do this. So
actually, if you can pick that up and show it to the camera, that is what you get. How about that for satisfying?
That.
So do you want to spend about a minute on each fret?
Yeah, sure.
If you need to, just before you start, pick up a bit of the goo on the brush from alongside and just backwards and forwards until you can see it going. That's a fantastic shine. And this is the payoff for having taken the time to do it. Just let it on its own weight. You don't even need to press down. And go, make sure it goes all length all the way. So it's a real payoff. I mean, realistically, we probably don't even need to do a second pass with a finer compound, but for once, I think we're going to do it this time.
Indulge a little.
Yeah, since this is going to be your first setup guitar, why not make it a memorable one? And when you're ready, either just move straight on. It might be good to stop so you can pick up a bit of, that way. Yeah, just pick up a bit of loose goo before you kick off the next one. So I'm going to put a pause on this.